But I'm going to hand you over to the graphics team. I'll introduce Rathgen, who's head of our graphics department, and he's going to explain what they've done with the look and feel of the Jade product.
Things have changed. So, Jade 2016. For the first time in probably 20 years, it's going to look different, and quite different. So don't be shocked. I'm going to take you through a little journey. I'm going to show you exactly what we've done, why we've started the journey. I'm going to talk about our design principles, exactly what our visual goals were. I'm going to talk you through the process of how my team worked on the product, and then I'm going to introduce some of the, well, I think pretty exciting new visual changes that we've implemented. In 1996, I worked on the first version of Jade with the Jade plant. It has been incredibly robust and lasted a long time, but the feedback we're getting is that the GUI is dated, and it does look dated, that it's complicated, and it really doesn't reflect the quality of what Jade is about. You know, we're always hearing stories about how robust and quick and so on Jade is, and a lot of times new users look at Jade and say, "Oh, this is pretty old. You know, it's not that great." So we think it was time to explore a new look and feel, just to help get people over that. And the three words that I've been drilling into my team when doing the work on Jade are simplicity, clarity, and extensibility. And so those were the catch cries which we used, and we brought those things to life by decluttering, simplifying, flattening, decoloring, and also giving lots more choice to the end user. I mean, we're really aware that people all like to use their applications in slightly different ways, and so giving them some choices about what that might look like is a really great idea. The thing about those three words too is that they do support the simplicity, elegance, speed, and dependability of Jade. So it was really important that we aligned what we did, and everything that we did went back to those values. The VX team, the visual experience team that worked on the product, went through a whole quite a long process. We started with design research, and I'll talk more about this in subsequent slides. We did lots of brand development, so it was important that we actually took the brand and made 2016 something really exciting. We did a lot of graphic development, obviously, within the product. There are a lot of icons in Jade. We'll get to that later. We prototyped everything, and we made sure that we were getting feedback constantly. The consultation with the devs was really important, so we talked with internal and external people and just got their feedback as to what they thought of the product and where we were heading. And I'd like to thank the Jade plant. We worked really closely with them, and it was just a real pleasure to kind of, you know, they were on board with it, and we really got some great outcomes, I think. So one of the tools in our toolbox was mood boards, and we started out it's a really great way that we use in graphics to benchmark, you know, the best in digital. And that wasn't just looking at what they were doing in .NET or the other tool GUIs. It was actually thinking about, okay, what do websites look like? What do mobile devices look like? How does the GUI kind of react? How does it look and feel? What are other people doing? And in general, the thing that we saw was that the GUIs were being flattened, and they were really simple. And that the theory now is that the app that's being built becomes the star of the show. So for us, that meant, again, it aligned perfectly with, you know, with our simplify, clarify, and yes, extend the product. So the prototypes, these are a number of the different prototypes that we actually got up and got running, And again, it was a really great way of test bedding things, and we'd get the plant to build something, and then we'd test it around, and then we'd make changes. Really important to test a lot of the gooey elements. How do they go together? What do they feel like? What do they look like? Do they work with the different skins and skin options? I've talked about feedback, really important, and the feedback loops really improved the outcomes. And we were really looking at ongoing improvements. So this is really part of a journey, and we're only just starting out on reinvigorating the whole gooey look and feel. And we've got some really exciting stuff coming. So our old friend, the current Jade IDE, I would say when I look at it as a designer, I'd say, incredibly information rich. It was designed, we originally did the design to get as much onto a 640/480 screen as we possibly could. Now, those days are long gone, thank God, and a lot of people are working on really huge monitors now, so we can afford to actually use things like white space to get some clarity around things so they're actually clearer and easier to use. A lot of the icons and stuff feel like they're all pressed and pushed up into the side. You've got no choice at the moment about what size icons you run. We've got these lovely Windows 3.1 buttons along there, which I think really date the whole product. In fact, that whole kind of the boxes inside boxes inside boxes and buttons and big scroll bars makes it really feel Windows 3.1. Also things like the bottom status lines and so on, really complicated, and I'll talk more about that a bit later too. So welcome to Jade 2016. Just give you a moment to digest it, but really, it's all about flat design. It's all about bringing flat design elements to the fore. We've simplified and made scalable the iconography within the product. A lot of decoloring, but a lot of just making sure everything's clearer. We've got new colorways and skins, and Mia will get up very soon and show you through some of the new skins that we're really excited to send out. We've got clear version branding on it, and a lot of new flat skin assets like these tabs and stuff. Very clear which tab has focus and so on. Using colour sparingly but in a flat way. We've updated the form controls. We have used white space considerably. We've got a new product icon, and the way in which we use the product icons using skins and skin categories means we use them in different ways through the product. We've got a new font. We've leaded things out, so leading is the gap, the space, the line spacing in between lines, so that things are actually clearer and more legible. We've got new slimline scroll bars, so a huge amount of the screen was taken up by scroll bars. Now we've just slimmed those right down. There's a lot of button clarity. Buttons are very, very clean and flat. We've improved the status line in the footer, and we've got a customizable coding pane and as far as colorways go. So you might notice that this one is the Darth Vader look with black. A lot of developers that we have working here really like using a dark background color. It might be a harkback to DOS, I don't know. But you might equally want it on a light grey, or you might want it on a white, or we quite like this one because it's retro. It's the Jade yellow. Along with that, we're really keen to make sure that the brand was brought to life and reinvigorated as well. So we've got a whole lot of new livery to go along with the 2016 release. It's called the Shard Design Language, and this kind of design language is based on, when you see Jade cut through and you look at it, it's not just green, It's actually got a whole lot of different colours, and it's got a whole lot of different textures and so on in it. And that's kind of reflected here. You see we're obviously using it in the presentation stack. We have a new product icon, which will be the thing that will sit on your desktop. We're doing some really exciting things with this. And you can expect us, that we'll actually be growing that into some different colorways. We'll be just working, looking at some things beyond the Jade Technologies green. This is an example of some splash screens. All of the splash screens will have the new shard language applied to them. And you'll also notice that the typography's changed. So the typography now is all caps Jade, the product. So again, we're trying to clarify the difference between Jade the company and Jade the product. So Jade the company is lowercase, Jade the product is uppercase, and you'll see one we've got here down the back. There's one just to remind us all that it is actually huge uppercase, and obviously fantastic t-shirts and so on. So one of those things that one of the design principles that we put together was simplicity, and I thought this was really a good example of how we applied simplicity to the design. So just by taking a little chop out of the bottom of the current IDE and looking at it and doing some forensics on it, you can see there are 27 state changes of colour and line thickness and weight and so on, and just in that tiny little piece. Now each bit of that has to be tracked, has to be created. You can kind of see why skins are quite complicated when you see how many different visual elements are included. The new skins have 9 different state changes. So cleaner, simpler, better to look at, and a lot easier to actually create and manage. I said we've done a lot of work on iconography to go along with the product, and the icons, we've tried to keep them as similar to the old icons as possible where they worked, but some of them have been updated and refreshed slightly and hopefully have been made more clear. We've also tried to inject some actual Jade into it, some feelings, like for example if you've got a web icon that it's actually got New Zealand on the map of the world. It's cute, but it's actually something that kind of belongs to us as well. I had really hoped that I was going to be able to stand up here and tell you guys that there were 2016 new icons in the product, but there aren't. There are a lot more. Because we're actually scaling a lot of the icons and things scale and are more responsive, then we've had to make a lot more icons in behind the scenes. So each colorway gets each color, each size, and so on. So it's really quite complicated. I guess we're really keen as a group to get more feedback from you guys. You guys are the guys that are actually using it. And from a visual perspective, we'd like to get the feedback through. So Mia and I will both be here all afternoon, and we'd love to hear your response initially, but we'd also like to get some response from you, say 6 weeks down the track or a couple of months down the track when you've actually got your hands on the product and you've actually started using it. It would be really great to hear some great critical feedback that allows us to fold back in some changes that can help to improve the look and feel of the product. So I'm going to hand you over to Mia Yatiswara. She is going to take you through all of the changes that we've made to the skins. She's going to introduce you to some really exciting new skins that you can use in your applications going forwards. So thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to introduce you the 2016 new skins for Jade. Obviously, new version, new names. And the reasoning behind these new names is we want to bring the local flavor, the local palettes back to the system. We want to make sure that the system or application feels like home when you use it, bring it back to where it comes from. And as Grace said, we focus so much on simplicity. So in the new designs and the new colors, we got rid, we strip off the the gradient color, the old school look and feel, and replace them with flat colors and more modern look and feel. And you can see it throughout the icons, colors, and all of the controls in the user interface. So the first skins that we have is Lincoln. Lush green, and this is the default screen that you're probably going to have with the new Jade. And the next one we have Sumner, so it reminds you of that the summer holiday that you have in New Zealand, and it's citrusy color, it's warm, it's sun. You've got New Brighton next. It's vibrant, it's blue, it's cool, a little bit understated. And then Cashmere, if you're really out there, this is the lush, luxurious, bold color that you might want to see. And then the last skins that we have is not really a New Zealand or Christchurch name. This is actually dedicated to one of our internal staff that help with the cutting and the slicing of the skins. This is for our Brian Johnstone, so we name it BJ's Blues. And it's a nice combination of the navy blue and the zingy green put together. So as you can see, this is the 5 colors that are going to come up with the 2016 skins, and obviously it's going to be more in the next release and so on. But this skin is going to be really useful for the user, as if you guys have 2 applications or more that open up at the same time, you guys can easily see which one is which application, etc. Now, that's exciting. So for every skins that we have here, we created what we call style tile. So a style tile is a visual guide or document that we have that contains fonts, colors, buttons, UI control, and other elements of the interface that we have. This document's really useful because it helps to form common visual language, so that all of this you can communicate it with the developers, user, and also the designer. So you've got a nice compact library of design that we can talk about. This is an example of the style tiles for the Lincoln skin. As you can see, you've got all the different colors up there. Each of the user interface elements, you can see what the tick boxes looks like, what the scroll bars looks like when they're disabled or roll over, etc. Tabs, all the menu, all the icons, radio buttons. And the good thing about style tiles, as the system gets bigger and bigger, you can keep adding more of this color and style to it. And for each of the skin, we've got a snap view of all of the style tiles put together. So in the future, it's going to be exciting because obviously we're going to have to add more skins for the user to be able to use. And going forwards, obviously more choice, new graphic technologies, more visual experience and user experience integration, easier skinning processes, more collaboration and resources, and more graphic services and support from the graphics teams, from us. So that is us from the user experience group. I'll give it back to John to take over.
Thank you very much.